Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
Also, if you are looking for something new and different for the upcoming Compliance Week celebration in November, check out The Compliance Kids. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. The Daily Compliance News for November 22nd, 2024, the all New York Times edition. We begin with a story about the fallout from the massive fraud, corruption, and criminal trials filed against the Adani Group and Gautman Adani yesterday, which really speaks to the corruption of India and how business is done there. And every compliance professional needs to understand that if you're doing business in India, it needs to move up to as high as it can be on your high-risk country list. So a very important lesson for compliance professionals: read the news. And when you have a massive corruption case like this, coupled with all of the enforcement actions coming out of India, beware. Next up, 2 very different sentences were handed down yesterday. The first, or rather earlier this week, the first to Bill Wang in the Archegos matter. He was sentenced to 18 years by a federal judge. The court found that this was basically an intentional act, and although his lawyers had objected to many of the provisions in the pre-sentencing report prepared by the probation department, the judge said he had to balance the severity of the crimes. So, pretty serious sentence. However, Gary Wang, the last close colleague of Sam Bankman-Fried, was given no jail time for his role in the FTX crypto scandal, as he had great and lasting cooperation with the prosecutors. He was the second cooperating witness to receive a sentence that does not require prison time, and the judge noted he deserved a world of credit for his cooperation, and he immediately did the right thing when he was charged. Our final story is the great Matt Gaetz. Yes, he has withdrawn from his nomination to be the Attorney General of the United States. That has to gladden the hearts of Republican congressmen, Republican senators, and probably the president as well, given the information that's come out on his escapades. As a friend of mine said, and special added bonus, he's already resigned from Congress, so we don't have that idiot mucking around in Congress anymore. So Matt Gaetz succumbs to some pressure, and hopefully the next nominee for the Attorney General role will not be a preening clown idiot that Trump nominated the first time around. As I mentioned at the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up, or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.